Hello, everybody. Whew. Okay, first of all, I know I do this every time, but I really do need you to tell me if you can hear me because we got our desktop set up for me to do this, and I get really dumb when I don't feel well, and it never occurred to me that my desktop wasn't set up to do anything that I wanted to do tonight. So here we are, just getting by. I feel like poo. I don't have a nicer way of saying it. Yeah, part of my closet is in the shot because we have to fix our janked up shower curtain set up here too, and we haven't done that. So I shouldn't say we. My poor husband hasn't done that yet, and I say poor husband because wow, I'm very needy lately, and it's a bit much. Yeah, Danny, it's not great here in Michigan. It's been so weird. Um, the weather is not my friend in March. It never is my friend in March. And I just don't feel good. I don't feel good. I never feel good in March. March is a bad month for me historically. The weather change always gets me, and I'm in an ungodly amount of pain because I don't get to pick and choose when my chronic illness affects me like some people do. But I appreciate everybody. Thank you. I'm happy to be here tonight. I really am. I know I sound cranky and like I'm not in the mood, but I actually am happy to be doing this tonight. I'm just not happy with the way it didn't come together. Hopefully, the way I was hoping it would. Let's see. Ree actually says it's 31 where she's at right now. He, I don't know. No, it's 34 here. It says. I don't. Well, 33. I don't feel like that's quite accurate, but I don't think anybody in Michigan feels like the temperature it says it is accurate ever. So that's kind of how it is to be a Michigander. So yeah, power. So funny story. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Danny Extreme said the power has been flaky here too. Yeah, so it's been extremely windy here, and I actually have a crack in my windshield now because of the wind. Something hit my car. We don't know what, but we have the insurance for it. It's fine. Yeah, hold on one second. I will finish my thought, I promise. But Rhea actually says I get headaches in March because of weather fluctuations, and that's 100% real. It's 100% a thing that happens. It happens to me too. One of my first signs of MS years ago that I didn't realize was a sign at the time were migraines. I just didn't realize that's what was happening. I actually lost part of my vision. It was weird, but it came back. I'm fine. Other than I live with a debilitating disease. But yeah, anyway, it's oh, what was I gonna say about cold? Hold on a second here. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Power. So we have lazy boy recliners. We decided a few years ago that we wanted nice chairs to sit in. So we got nice chairs to sit in. And I love them so much, but we need to get a battery backup for them because they are electronic. I don't have always have the leg strength to manually do the seats. And I'm so glad after I broke my leg when I shattered my leg last year that I didn't have manual or even the push button kind of recliner because I wouldn't have been able to sit in my chair. That would have been too much for me. Any movement of my knee was devastating. So anyway, when the power starts to flicker and if we have our chairs up, we have to really quickly put them down. And it's not a quick process. It's like the slowest when you're trying to make it happen fast. Otherwise, you're stuck in that position. And we have been stuck in that position before where the chairs are up and the power is out. And before I broke my leg, it was not easy getting out of my chair, but I could manage it. I don't think I could do it now. Like, I would just be stuck there until the power came back on or we figured something else out. But we do have a generator. Yeah, Leslie said generator. Yeah, we do have a generator. We don't have a big one yet. That's on our list of things we want to have, but we have a good one. However, one of the kids borrowed it, so we're not getting it back for a while. It's fine. They use it for camping, and it's good for them. So we don't keep it at our house very often. If I got stuck in the chair, yeah, probably somebody'd have to bring the generator over and get me unstuck. But there's these battery backup things they sell for them, and we just need to pull the trigger and go ahead and do it. Anyway, you guys did not dial in or whatever, tune in to watch me talk about my recliners. Yeah, Michelle says they are so slow. Yeah, they do make a battery pack for the chair. They do. We just didn't buy them at the time because we were already spending enough money, but we probably just should have done it. And now it's like one of those things where, yeah, we need to do it, but do we? So, hello, Jen. So happy to see you here watching me. I don't feel so great as I was saying, but I'm here. And Wheat Toast West Coast. I like that name. It messes with my brain, but I like it. I made it. It's tax season. Do you think anyone else will file? Probably through Credit Karma. I still giggle about that. I'm sorry. I saw an ad for Credit Karma doing something else. They have something else they've partnered with. And I was like, oh, I wonder if the Owens know about that. Because yikes. But anyway, I watch court all day. Like, that's what I do. Nobody should be surprised by that. There are some courtrooms that are hopping all day, and they get my attention more than others. But I was watching, I actually think this is from yesterday. No, it's from today. I don't know. It might be from yesterday. I don't know. Anyway, it's a sentencing hearing, and I think you'll be interested. Like, we're going to watch it together, obviously, but I think you'll be interested to see the type of scam that happened, how it happened, and how, even though the person, from what I understand and the way they described it when the victim did their statement, they didn't fall for it, but they still almost got taken. Like, the scam went through the paces, and if not for somebody at the bank paying attention, could have gone through. So really creepy when you hear about how it went down. And I always say, like, I watch, too much Dateline, and I was in my job for so long, and we learned every single dangerous thing that could happen with money, that it would take a lot to get me, but I'm telling you now, these scams are increasing in their creativity. It's amplifying their success. And the only way that we're going to know or see it coming is to be on top of it when it happens. And so what do you call it? There's I don't know if anybody's ever watched Scammer Payback, but that's a fun channel to watch. He goes through a lot of how things happen. Like, I didn't even know some of it and how it happens until I watched Scammer Payback. So if that's a channel you don't follow, it would be a good one to follow. He goes through, like, he's scamming scammers, but it's crazy because, like, you can see how they get these people. I could see how I would fall for it, because they get these people who will get access to somebody's computer. They act like they're from Microsoft. We all know that's the scam, right? And I don't victim shame at all when it comes to these scams, because it can happen to people who do know better or have heard better. It can happen. And the only reason it doesn't get reported as much or caught sooner is because people feel shame immediately when it happens to them. So they don't tend to tell anybody about it, and it just gets worse. So I don't shame people about it, because you never know when you're going to be the target of a scam like that. But anyway, my point is, like, they'll go in and they'll manipulate the website of you can do that in the background of certain websites where you can make words look differently on the screen if you know how to do it. And so they'll make certain things on people's bank accounts look differently. And these people think, oh, shoot, this money did come out of my account. I need you to give it back to me. And then they'll give them information that basically they need to take the money. So this is somewhat of how that happened. I think you need to listen to the whole thing to see how it played out. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't share here. And again, I'm going to hope that it shares audio too. Okay, so just so you guys know, this is a district court in Michigan, in Wayne County, Michigan. Judge DeSanto is a very strong woman and a very good judge. And I wasn't thinking on it. She is a good judge. She's a very good judge. And Wayne County is strapped for a lot of resources, even though don't get me started. Wayne County is a mess. But she does the best with what she has, right? And so the courtroom here is Judge DeSanto, a couple angles of her. This is the podium where the victim is going to come stand. This person in the middle is the defendant. And I don't know that Gordon is anybody, actually, or this person down here, because the defendant's attorney comes on. Yeah, I feel like he's a different guy, if I'm remembering how this was playing out. So I'm just hopefully you guys can hear it.
Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go out of order here for a moment because we have a victim present, but we're going on the record in the matter.
Yeah, I was right. So the guy in the middle is the defense attorney. And so that's who everybody is in this video. If you can't hear it, tell me right away, please.
Thank you. The state of Michigan versus Josiah Atkinson, 26103.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sherman Abbott on behalf of Mr. Atkinson. Your Honor, we do not object this hearing is being conducted via Zoom today. Mr. Atkinson, please say your name for the record.
Josiah Atkinson.
All right, thank you. And I understand that we have Miss Amira Hoffman and Mr. Kevin Hoffman present. So I will give you, no, just Miss Hoffman. I will give you an opportunity to speak in just a couple moments, okay? All right, and so counsel, today is the date scheduled for sentencing on your client's plea to an amended charge of larceny by false pretenses, $200 to $1,000. The original charge of uttering and publishing, which was a felony, was dismissed by way of resolution between counsel. And did you have an opportunity, counsel, to review the report and recommendation with your client?
I did, Your Honor. There's no additional corrections deletions needed at this time. I would like to speak a little bit on behalf of my client before sentencing.
All right, you may proceed, counsel.
Yeah, my client's 18 years old. He is a freshman at Wayne State University. He's on a piano scholarship. He's a pianist. He's studying music there. He's also on the Wayne State fencing team. Last summer at court, we thank you for allowing him graciously allowed to travel for his tournaments. Additionally, Your Honor, his mother has been in full support of him throughout this. She's contacted me earlier. She's been with Josiah. She was with him last night. I do believe she is with him, obviously not on Zoom, but sitting with him today during this proceeding. So he does have good family support. Yeah, and I do believe this is an isolated incident. I don't believe it will be repeated behavior for him. I would ask that you would adopt a higher recommendation moving forward. I think he could show you an opportunity to earn it. Your Honor, I did review, obviously, the recommendations for him to take classes. I would say in lieu of classes, Your Honor, I think community service would probably be better suited for him. He's a pianist. He has a gift. Him being able to provide his services, I think community service-wise versus classes, I think will be a better lesson, probably a better impact on the community.
Okay.
Okay. So real quick, since I explained who's who and whatnot, the defendant here, bright kid, right? Pianist, fencing student, and I believe they said Wayne State. Good school. So I kind of feel like I'll spoil this. I don't care. I kind of feel I'll spoil my opinion a little bit. I kind of feel like he's somewhat of a victim too. And so I think that a lot of people, there's this big wave of videos on YouTube of people cashing checks at banks. And what they're not realizing is that those people that are actually in person physically at the bank, those people are just marginalized people, vulnerable people who have been promised some money, who desperately need money and have been promised some money so that, to send them into the bank to do what they're going to do. So I feel a little bit, it's not cool, trust me. But I do feel like he's a little bit of a victim as well, just in that I think he fell for something many kids might. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to hear from Ms. Hoffman next. Ms. Hoffman, if you'd like to step forward, please.
Good morning.
I'm sorry. Good morning. If you could please state and spell your first and last names for the record, please.
Amira Hoffman, AMEERAHOFFMAN.
Thank you.
I honestly didn't think I had the courage to come here today. I've never felt comfortable speaking in front of people. For this, I had to come. Nothing was ever handed to me growing up. I had to work hard for the things I wanted, and I still do today. My family and I are honest and hardworking people who just do our best each day. You hear about being a victim of fraud or identity theft or someone hacking into your accounts and taking your life savings. You just don't think it's going to happen to you. Well, if not for a quick thinking bank teller, that would be my family and me. I was already feeling some anxiety that morning from my upcoming yearly work review. It started early in the morning with a phone call from my supposed credit union inquiring if I had tried to send someone $500, which I had not. The woman on the phone sounded quite professional, and she stated that my online account would have to be suspended for 24 to 48 hours for an investigation to take place.
I don't want to step on this too much because it is important to listen to. But I do feel like in hindsight, right? In hindsight, that's a red flag because they don't typically shut down your online access just because somebody tried to hack your account, and steal from it. They might. I think they would be more apt to have you change your passwords and do the standard things. It seems odd, but they catch you off guard and you don't know what's real. But this is just so much more than that too.
I felt that it was odd that I received a call so early in the morning, but I thought that a fraud department could call at any time. The woman I spoke to tried to get me to give information over the phone and wanted to get my husband on the phone as well. I remember telling her that my husband was at work and would not be able to talk on the phone. This woman told me that I should be able to use my debit card, but not my online account. Since I was busy at work, I didn't think much of it at the time. I left work early and I had a short conversation with my brother about that, and he was worried about it being a scam. Things became increasingly more real as my debit card was declined at the gas station. I had to make numerous phone calls to find out why my phone wasn't working right and especially when my debit card wasn't either, when I knew I had money in my account. All the red flags were in my face, and I was getting increasingly more scared as the moments passed by. When my husband called me on my work cell instead of my personal phone, as he does when he gets off work, it became very real that my phone had been rerouted to someone else. Once home, we spoke to the credit union, who stated that to help us, we had to come in, which we did. That is when we found out the enormity of our situation. Not only did the representative show us a copy of the check that Mr. Atkinson tried to cash for $9,890, and that he advised the teller there that he was my nephew. Also, the rep showed us our statement where $90,000 was moved from another account to our checking account. I can't express how sick I felt when I saw this. To know that the money could have been taken from us perhaps within a day or two. It would have ruined our lives. We would not have been able to recover from it, as it would have been a devastating blow. My brother received a call from the credit union just before noon that day. They were inquiring if he knew Josiah Atkinson. The answer was no, not anyone in our family by that name. He proceeded to call my personal cell phone, and a voice that sounded like mine answered him. When he asked what account I was taking that kind of money from to write that large of a check, the person replied, "You know, duh." My brother knew right away that it was not me speaking to him, because in all my life I had never spoken that way. From there, he spoke to Lieutenant Herrick from Riverview Police Department concerning the situation.
Okay, so I don't know if you picked up on that, but they took her voice and used AI to replicate it in a phone call to her brother. Like, that's wild, first of all, right? And I think that, so I asked the question, how many times have you been asked to verify private information by a legitimate source? I actually have, and I've argued with people over the phone about it. I've argued that when they're asking me for private information and they won't talk to me unless I give private information, that they are causing me to reveal private information, and they have no idea if I'm in a public place, who can hear me, whether I'm comfortable with it. They don't care. It's very frustrating, because you get these questions that would seem like red flags, but they do happen, and it's scary. But yeah, they spoofed her voice. It's crazy. Listen to it. It gets wilder. So I'm going to keep going.
So not only did we have to open new accounts at the credit union, but we also had to make changes to our direct deposits at our jobs, my husband's Social Security payment, and many other things we pay for from our checking account. We had to go to our cell phone company to get a new SIM card in my cell phone to reset it and get it changed back over, so I had control over it again. We see different things that need changes constantly as the days go by, and we are stressed more and more about it. While this person did not get the money he tried to steal from us, there isn't a day that goes by that we don't believe it can't happen. We have had to put safety measures with creditors in place and have special code words when we speak to each other on the phone.
Think about that for a second. They have to have, it's one thing to have code words when you speak to your account holders, the credit card, the credit rating companies and whatnot. Having code words when you're speaking to your own family members so that they know that it's you they're speaking with. How fucked up is that? Like, how my stomach is turning thinking of how this would have been for them. And again, they did not fall for the scam. They just got on the phone with these people long enough to have their voices replicated, and they had just enough information to do what they needed to do. It's crazy. Okay, keep going.
We have blocked our credit so no one can get credit in our names. We have had to spend hours on the phone to try and make things safer. We continue to experience things daily where we must fix an account due to Mr. Atkinson's actions. I feel Mr. Atkinson will continue to do illegal things to other innocent people unless the consequences for his actions are harsh enough. While I believe that Mr. Atkinson is just a small part of something bigger, and perhaps I cannot prove it, I truly believe Mr. Atkinson needs more than a slap on the wrist because I don't believe that it will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. So ma'am, I do have a couple questions for you because a few things I don't think were made clear to me prior to just now. Are you stating that there was $90,000 deposited into your checking account from a different account, but which account?
A savings account that was a special savings account that was from a house fire, that be a special account that had been moved into my checking account, which we had not done. And it was moved without us being notified or anything like that. And the representative that we spoke to at the bank, at the credit union, told us that that's something that can't be moved right away. It has to take several days or some kind of time frame before they can just move that kind of money. But that's something
So it was a pending transfer?
It was the transfer had already been moved from that account to the checking account, which is an account that was, an active account. And so that was probably, we were told that it was probably something that they were going to be able to either make transactions or actually try to move the money from the account. And because that amount of money, like that check, was just a big red flag to the teller at the, that was just the first of things that thankfully that the teller was very, very smart and just said, but when they tried to call my phone number, because it was the three of us were on that account, tried to call my number, it went to the rerouted phone. And so, of course, I couldn't answer it. Tried to call my husband, he's at work, he couldn't answer it. And it went to my brother, who said, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right.
Okay, so rewatching this now, I did not pay attention maybe the first or even second time around at Josiah's unaffected glare. I don't know, and it could be a nervous thing, but he seems a little, I don't know. It's interesting to watch him react to what's happening and what she's saying right now. Think about how sophisticated this scam is. They hijacked her phone number. They used AI to replicate her voice. And they got into her account and transferred money. Probably because they had hijacked her phone number and did a password reset or something. Who knows? Like, that's pretty high level sophistication, in my opinion.
And so you did not have control over your own phone?
I did not. So whoever talked to me that morning, who I thought was the fraud department, kept me on the phone long enough to probably take my voice like AI. And when my brother tried calling me, and he's the gentleman sitting over there, when he called my phone to talk to me, to ask me that question, they had my voice taped, and he thought he was, talking to me. And so that's the new thing these days, apparently, that AI can, replicate your voice. And
So, I mean, I watch enough TV shows. I know this happens, right? Like I watch NCIS and, FBI and all the whatever procedural shows. I know this happens. I know it's a thing. I'm not new to that. I don't want to make it sound like I'm unaware. But again, I mean, we've seen that it more, at least in the shows I watch, where it's used as like they'll even use FaceTime to like pretend that they need money transferred to them right away. Well, a family member needs money transferred right away in an emergency situation. And that's how, like, even going back into my industry, that's how it's done. We're always more on alert right before a holiday weekend. And at the end of the day, when something's going to be more urgent, and when people act in a more urgent manner, instead of saying, oh, I understand why you're trying to protect the money you're sending me, that's when something's not quite right. This is just a different level for me when they're talking to family members, pretending to be her, talking about this situation. It's wild. Okay. Sorry.
He knew when he heard me say the dog, he knew that wasn't me because I've never spoken like that to him ever. So, it's been a horrifying experience.
Mr. Atkinson, do you hear all of the damage that has occurred as a result of your actions?
I do, Your Honor.
And what do you have to say about that, sir?
I am deeply ashamed and disappointed in my actions. I was not thinking rationally and acting on impulse and promises of quick money without really taking regards as to where the money was coming from. I don't know if I'm allowed to address Ms. Hoffman directly, but
You can. I will allow you in just one moment. But what do you mean, sir, that you were promised quick money?
by the check, Your Honor.
Right. So did you think of all this on your own, sir?
No, Your Honor.
No. So who were you working with?
I don't know their names, Your Honor.
How do you not know their names, sir?
Well, there were two people whose names I do not know, and they offered the opportunity to me. I wasn't thinking in regards to as where the money was coming from, and it was a rash and deplorable decision on my part to engage with them and take or attempt to remove money from Ms. Hobson's account. I really do believe that she deserves every single penny she's earned, and I would never attempt anything like this again, knowing the consequences and scope of my actions. I'm
So let me pause you there, sir. Okay. So these two individuals that you don't know their names, how did you end up in contact with them?
through a friend who put me in contact.
So a friend put you in contact with these two.
Okay. This is another reason why I love Judge DeSanto. Hopefully I'm going to try something here and it doesn't. No, it must. I just want to go back like 2 seconds. All right. So
Through
Judge DeSanto's face. She is a mom of teenagers. She is not buying it. Right? Like, and here's my other thing. Okay. No thanks in K says, did mom or attorney write that for him? Because he was looking down like he was reading. I do think this is a highly intelligent individual. That concerns me that because he is highly intelligent. I do think he knows the buzzwords. I do think there's been assistance as well. But I think he knows some buzzwords because he definitely is hitting them. And Judge DeSanto's face. She ain't buying it.
A friend who put me in contact.
So a friend put you in contact with these two individuals for quick money.
Yes.
And so what was it that was told to you by these two individuals whom you don't know their names?
They told me that that I would have to go into the bank and cash a check. They gave me they told me that to take the account and to say it was for my college tuition, and that to say that my nephew, or that I was the nephew of Amira Hoffman, the person holding the account. And that's all they told me.
All right. And so, sir, have you heard of this saying, if it's too good to be true? Then it probably
Sorry, Your
is.
Honor, you broke up a little bit.
Have you ever heard of the saying, sir, if it's too good to be true, it probably is?
I have, and I'll be taking that to heart for the rest of my life, I think.
All right. And I know that you did address slightly to Ms. Hoffman. You indicated you wanted to address Ms. Hoffman, and you may have something else to say. You may continue, sir.
I truly do believe that you deserve every penny that you've earned, and I feel a very large amount of regret that I have affected you in such a large way. As a man, it's not the person I want to be affecting people, and I would never attempt anything like this again. I think that it's dangerous and it's unfair, and I never should have even engaged with those people or tried to take money from anyone in any sort of way.
I think he hit a pretty important point there that he doesn't even realize, and that is that it is dangerous. Because if Josiah is successful and walks out of the bank with that much money and meets up with somebody, is Josiah walking away with that much money? I don't know. I think that it's interesting. Okay, I don't know what the fuck this is about.
Okay. So, sir, it is easy, sir, to want to get money quickly, right? That's a huge carrot that people often dangle in front of other individuals to get them to participate in this type of behavior. And shame on your friend, sir, for being complicit in this behavior as well.
So Ree asks, is he sincere or faking what he did? So I think the way he explained it is exactly how it went down. I think he knows more than he's letting on. Don't get me wrong. I think he knows some of the players. However, I do believe it's possible that he was just a pawn. And they usually target homeless people and whatnot. And again, this is, I think, where the scam is escalating, and now they're pulling college kids out, right, and using them instead. And it's just awful all the way around. But Josiah's going to be okay, and you'll see why.
And it's unclear as to whether or not you knew the other parts of this scam that was going on, or if you were only involved in the check at the bank portion of this scam. You have now heard, sir, the extensive ramifications of this entire scam operation to which you were a part of in a very detrimental way to Ms. Hoffman. You were offered a significant opportunity from the prosecuting attorney. Ma'am, did you have any communication with the prosecuting attorney at all prior to receiving notice from the court's probation department regarding this matter?
Which is was it
The Wayne County prosecuting attorney, Mr. Mohammed?
I spoke to him
Okay,
at one point. Yes.
okay. Or maybe Ms. Dodge you've spoken to, the victim advocate? Okay. Mr. Atkinson. It appears from the limited information and interaction this court's had with you that you are, by all accounts, a well-intending individual that got caught up in I don't want to say get rich quick, because $10,000 is not rich, but that type of scam. I also believe, sir, that you are contrite and that you are remorseful. What I am going to do, sir, is I am going to, as a condition of your sentence, one of the conditions is going to be for you to work with the Riverview Police Department to identify the other individuals involved so that other people do not get scammed by these individuals. Because between the $10,000, the $9,800 and the $90,000 that was transferred, that's $100,000. And I can guarantee, sir, you are not going to be, you would not have seen nor received much of that money, if at all, by these people that claimed that you were going to get this money. So what the court's going to order is the court's going to, well, first, the court's going to find that there is reasonable ground to depart from MCL 769.5 after hearing from counsel, hearing from Mr. Atkinson, hearing from Ms. Hoffman. And ma'am, if you would like to continue to stand, then you can. If you'd prefer to sit down, you can sit down.
Sit down, please.
Yes, okay. That there is reasonable grounds to depart from MCL 769.5. The court's going to find the following sentence to be in the best interest of justice, to be reasonable and proportionate to the seriousness of the matter, taking into account the circumstances surrounding Mr. Atkinson. The court's going to order 60 days jail. The court's going to suspend that jail.
That got his attention for a half a second. Did you see that? That got his attention for half a second. Let's just go back. Just real quick here when she says 60 days jail.
The court's going to order 60 days jail. The court's going to suspend that jail.
Yeah, that got his attention. Good. Okay, good. Because this is the thing. It is not likely or common in this situation that that's what will happen. Stir Crazy said until they suspend. So the thing is, and Stir says again, see, that's why she should have kept the 60 days. The problem is, and this is when I said at the top and you weren't here yet, Stir, Wayne County's resources are strapped in that they have a brand new jail facility that they just built, that is obviously already at capacity. And they do not have the ability to house a college pianist fencer for 60 days because there's already too many criminals who use up the facility. So unfortunately, that's the case. DeSanto is, as I said at the beginning, dealing with the resources that she has available. And a first-time offender, a college student, is not likely to receive any jail time, even if he violates his parole. It's not really parole, it's probation conditions. In Wayne County, it's usually like the fifth time is when you go in. So it's frustrating to watch this court, but if you know the background of why stuff is happening, it's less frustrating. They're doing the best with what they have. So yeah, but I do like that got his attention more so than anything else we saw here, right? More so than the $90,000 even. This got his attention.
Which means you don't have to serve it right now, sir. If there's a violation, you'll be serving that jail. 24 months probation. You are eligible for early discharge per the statute.
Okay, so 24 months probation is not a joke in Wayne County. It's tough, and he will have people watching him. So that is a good case scenario for this situation, in my opinion. Probation is not always, and probation isn't bad because there is a lot of oversight. When you have somebody who just goes to jail for 60 days and then they're done. Nobody's watching them move throughout the world, right? Nobody's keeping tabs on them. This kid's going to have somebody keeping tabs on him for 24 months, maybe less. He can get out. He can get out from under it sooner if he follows all of the rules and does what he's supposed to do, because she'll give him conditions. But and she has some good things that she's going to have him go, make sure he takes care of, and he won't be able to finish probation without doing that. But probation's not a joke in this situation, and especially 24 months. They don't hand out 24 months very often in Wayne County.
The court will go over that a bit more and shortly. The court will also note that you are eligible under HIDA as well.
Let's talk about HIDA for a minute. HYTA, Homes Youthful Training Act. The Homes Youthful Training Act is a statute, if you're not familiar with Michigan, where the defendant, because they are 26 years old or younger, is eligible to have the conviction, because it's actually not even counted as a conviction. They're eligible to have this crime wiped from their record as long as they complete their probation successfully. Again, 24 months is rough. 24 months is going to be a challenge for him. I think it's a good one for him, but it's going to be a lot of things that he's going to have to make sure he completes in order to get to that point. And then, like I said, then once it's all over with, they go through the process of wiping it from the record. However, it will still show up. In Michigan, we have this thing called iChat, and it's basically like a state database of every encounter you've ever had with police. It's crazy, but it's there. And it'll show up in those kinds of things. But and so the police will know, and it will know, like, if he has another encounter with police, they'll be able to know about this. But the general population won't. That he can walk away with a good, clean record as long as he does what he's supposed to do and completes his probation successfully. So we'll see what else is involved. But HIDA is what you hear referred to in Michigan courts. And that is for people 26 and under. There's another, I think it's 7411. There's a statute for adults that are basically allowed the same thing. I don't love that. But there are also conditions, like it can't be for violent crimes and such. But nonviolent crimes are often sentenced under HIDA. Sadly, it can even be a second or third conviction where you can still be HIDA eligible. But I won't get into my whole diatribe about HIDA tonight. But that's what it is. When she said HIDA, that's what she's talking about.
There's a note as a as an agreement between council that the full restitution, if applicable, but I believe that all monies that check did not get cashed and there was not any restitution. So there's not any restitution that's ordered. The court's going to order you not to violate any criminal law of any unit of government. You're not to leave the state without the consent of this court. You are to report truthfully to your probation officer as often as your probation officer may require, in person, in writing, or virtually. You are to notify your probation officer immediately of any change in address or employment status. You are to participate in an economic crime program, sir. The rehabilitative goal for that condition is so you can further learn skills so that you can eliminate behaviors such as this that are associated with other economic crimes. And hopefully, sir, there will be some discussion within that program regarding situations like this. You are to attend CASA meetings weekly. The rehabilitative goal for that condition, sir, is to help you learn tools to prevent you from engaging in this type of behavior again, and emphasizing responsibility as well. You're not to have any contact with Mr. or Ms. Hoffman. You are to, the court's going to order $0 in restitution. And as I indicated, sir, you are to work with the Riverview Police Department to identify the other individuals involved. You may not have the names of the other individuals. You claim you don't, which should have been a red flag. But the friend that put you in touch with those individuals, sir, you're going to give that information to the Riverview Police Department so that that friend can give you the information that's needed so that other individuals in the community are kept safe from these predators. Is that clear?
That is clear, Your Honor.
I don't know much about Riverview Police. I'm sure they are just really great at their job. I mean, they were on top of this. I have concerns about whether or not the Wayne County prosecutor will follow up with anything that Riverview Police does in terms of locating and pursuing people that were top level involved in this crime. They count convictions, and convictions happen when it's easy, and it's easy to catch the kids standing in the bank trying to cash a check, in my opinion.
The court's going to order a $500 fine, $100 screening assessment fee, $1,200 supervision oversight fee. That's $50 a month at 24 months. And since you're eligible for early discharge, up to half of that could be waived. $300 for the cost of prosecution, crime victim assessment fee of $75, justice system assessment fee of $50. That's a total of $2,225.
That's a lot of money. Think about that, man. That's a lot of money. So Here, first of all, Glory Bird says Josiah knew better. The check and money weren't his. He knew to say no to any part of this criminal scheme, and I absolutely agree. I also believe that he didn't think about whose money it was when he was involved in it. Right? He didn't think that deep about it. That's unfortunate, obviously, but he did. He should have known better. It's not your money, man. It's just not your money. And college kids do think they are invincible. Thank you, E. Broccoli. That's exactly it. And Auntie M says, IDK, this guy is self-soothing with the hair stroking thing. Yeah, that's that. I feel like that's part of it for sure. I think he didn't think it through as opposed to thinking he wouldn't get caught. Good point. Yes, good point. I agree with this. I absolutely agree with this. I think if anybody has a chance to move on this is what I think HIDA is meant for. Kids like Josiah. And I say kids, I don't know. He's in college. Maybe he's 25. I don't think he is. But people like Josiah, this is what I believe HIDA is truly for. People who made made a true mistake and will learn from it and do better with the rest of their lives, right? You guys should see my driving record from years ago. It's not great. I shudder to think about how I used to drive. So, it was bad and I'm not proud of it. But like, I'm better now. Done better. You know. Does that mean if I get another ticket that Judge DeSanto wouldn't be calling out my entire driving history going back into the 90s in a court hearing? No, it doesn't mean that. I'd still have to hear about it. So I think that HIDA works in good in some ways, and this would be the case where it has every chance to do that. Now, the ball's in his court.
There was a bond posted by Michael Marquette. That bond, I do not have any indication that, it's a surety bond, so that's not going to be applied toward fines and costs.
I don't know if I watch court every day, so I assume people know certain things. So, Stir said, wait, what did she say about a fee? So his total fees and costs were $2,000. Was it $2,200 or $2,075? It was over $2,000 for his total costs. He will have the benefit of paying that during his probation period. And if he gets early termination, those fees may be reduced because they charge you per month for probation. So if he gets out, I think you have to serve 75%. I can't remember the percentage. I'm not gonna get. I'd be guessing if I say, but you have to serve a certain amount before you can get early termination, and you have to have completed everything they told you to do in order to get early termination. But he will have some time to pay that overtime, and let's be real, it's probably parents helping him. Yeah, me Broccoli says more money than he probably would have ever made from the scam. Agreed, because once they had that check, if they'd been successful from the check he deposited or he tried to cash and they had the cash from that, they had their way in. They would have been able to strip money from that account in less than half a day, within hours, I'm sure of it. So it's just so not worth it. Yeah, and unfortunately, that kind of restitution, so Stir Crazy said, they should have to pay the victims money for the hell they put them through. And man, like I said, listening to her talk about it just sounded awful. And unfortunately, that's just not how restitution works, at least in Michigan. I don't know about other states. I do know some about other states, but because I watch court everywhere, but there's some states I don't know about. Let's put it that way. And it doesn't work that way in Texas or Michigan, the ones I know the most about. Okay, we're almost done here. Sorry, guys.
As I did indicate, sir, you are eligible for early discharge as long as all of the following have occurred. You've completed at least half of your original term of probation. All probation requirements have been completed. You've had at least 3 months without any violations, and all monies have been either paid in full or you've made a good faith effort for making full payment. Do you understand all that, sir?
I understand.
All right. Any questions?
Your Honor, just one thing regarding his travel restrictions. His mom lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. I know we discussed it last court date. I just would like that condition be continued. He'd be allowed to travel to Ohio to go visit his mother.
Well, what the court will do, counsel, is the court will leave that open. And as long as your client's compliant with probation and there aren't any other issues that are occurring, then your client can submit that request to probation and it will be reviewed by myself as well. But it's not just an open-ended travel permission.
Thank you, Your Honor. No problem.
All right. Anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, sir, please email into probation by 11:30 and they'll give you your next steps.
All right. Thank you.
Up to you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming in. Thank you. All right. And we.
Okay, let me remove that. So, real quick, Glory Bird asked, can't the judge place someone in another county or state's jail? No. So, a lot of people don't know this, and I think I made a comment on Twitter once about it, but jail and prison are two different things. So, jail is at the county level, and that is for sentences that are 12 months or less. So if you're sentenced to 12 months or less, you're going to more than likely spend it in the county jail. 12 months, 1 day or more is spent in the state prison. Different states have different rules, but that's pretty commonly how it's done, handled throughout each state. So back during COVID, when Zoom court was a big thing, there was Georgia court that was very popular. There was a judge in Georgia that was very popular. And she would have these hearings of arraignments and status conferences. And it would be like this Zoom call is nothing. It would be boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes all over the screen of people in cells. And it would be status conferences where these people had spent longer than their time that their sentence would even be. They had spent awaiting an actual charge. It was insane. My point is, their jails were notoriously, and I think they still are, very badly overburdened, and people were actually dying in there. It was very bad. Yes, Judge Manning. Thank you. Why couldn't I think of her name? Mary Smith. Thank you so much, Judge Manning. She wasn't the only judge that was occurring in. It was just in that county. There was a lot of that happening. Stay out of what county? It's stay out of something county. I can't think of the name of it all of a sudden. Anyway, love Judge Manning. She's amazing. But anyway, that county had a very bad population problem. And they tried to make this arrangement where they would ship prisoners or jailies, inmates to another state. Actually, they made a contract. I think it was with Alabama, maybe. And they were trying to house them off site. Fulton County. Yes. Fulton County. Stay out of Fulton County. But that's what she would say. You can't come back. Just don't come back. Just don't be here if you don't live here. Basically trying to tell people who made trouble to stay out. But anyway, they tried to ship them to another state. It was this whole thing. Like there was a lawsuit about it, and it was wild. So my whole long way of saying no is they typically they can't because of jurisdiction. You can't sentence somebody unless you have an agreement. But I think a lot of jails are overburdened like that. And so it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to make those types of agreements, especially in the metro area. I can't think of a jail that could handle the capacity. And that's the only way you'd be able to do it, because you have to keep people close, so to speak. Like I said, I think Wayne County has a good probation department. Washtenaw County also has a good probation department. I'm not a fan of Oakland County's probation department, and I don't know much about Macomb's. That's our Southeast Michigan area. But I do think that Josiah is going to have a lot of eyes on him, over the next 18 to 24 months. And hopefully he is the kid that does use that program successfully and doesn't let it, become, as my favorite Judge Boyd says, don't become institutionalized. Don't end up in Livingston County is decent. Yes, Livingston County is decent. There's Livingston County. I was thinking of Lenawee. Livingston is also decent. Lenawee County is the one there's a judge, Ann Zalone, that I like in Livingston County. Anyway, actually, I think I like all the judges in Lenawee County. Anzalone, Sala, and the one that just handled the murder case. Olsaver? Yeah. Good judges out there. Yeah, I love Judge Anzalone. Love Judge Anzalone. She's adorable. And but she's also tough and does not take shit. And she gets her point out a lot faster than Judge DeSanto. I think Judge DeSanto she's in a very busy court. And today was just boom, 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 nonstop. I mean, she was still on her morning docket at 3:30 in the afternoon today. And so I think part of her issue is she is trying to do too many things at once. She needs better deputies in her courtroom, in my opinion. She doesn't have a Mr. Allen like Judge Simpson does. And so like her deputies are kind of like turnkeys, and they don't do the same service to her that Mr. Allen does to Judge Simpson. She has to handle a lot of the courtroom chaos and gallery shenanigans and stuff that other judges just simply don't have to deal with. If they overhear it, for sure, you'll hear them yell about it, but they don't have to address it as much as you see Judge DeSanto has to address it. So anyway, sorry, didn't mean to get off on my little diatribe about courtrooms in Michigan, in Southeast Michigan especially. But like I said, I'm not feeling super great, but I'm here. I will say that Stir Crazy. Oh, sorry, I said it wrong. Stir Crazy said, I don't usually watch these types of court hearings, but you make it interesting to watch. So I don't want to give it away, but I wanted to have like because I'm a nerd, I wanted to have like a property law based channel, and I wanted to cover like property related hearings, and my husband's like, that's too narrow. And I don't think it is, because I think you can expand into things pretty well, like divorce and other kinds of hearings, theft and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I mean, I'll still cover those things. My absolute favorite Michigan judge is Judge, and I'm going to hack his name. I should learn how to pronounce it or how he pronounces it, but Judge Gauthier out of I think it's 83rd Circuit Court in northern Michigan. It handles Sheboygan and Presque Isle counties. It's 2 counties because it's such a sparse area that the population justifies 1 court for 2 counties. And he's an amazing judge. Holy cow, is he an amazing judge. But anyway, he handles a lot of really complex cases that I love, and also some simple stuff. So I dig that, and I would probably cover him more than anything else. But yeah, I know there's Ding Dong doing stuff the way Ding Dong does. And I'm just so bored with that man. I'm not, oh, I don't know how to say this. I absolutely understand he needs to be covered. People like it's not for me, but people need to cover what he's doing because it's outrageous. It does need light shed on it. Sorry. And I have, all the respect for people who do cover him. He bores me, if I'm being honest. Other than when he's hilarious because he's like making the dumbest comments. It's like it's like somebody who just woke up a lawyer one day and started spewing words that they learned by osmosis. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I know there's that kind of stuff going on, and we're waiting on something to happen in bankruptcy court. It's just so boring right now with that stuff. I know we have some deadlines coming up with I think she has to make a decision on her plea deal and whatnot. But yeah. E. Broccoli said, I'm tired of having my jaw on the floor with him. It's just crude at this point. Yeah, he's just he's just gross. And like, come on, dude. You thought you were gonna like get Judge Meta's entire social media feed? Like anything she might have looked at. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, this is why I can't cover him, because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the financial stuff. Again, not an expert, but I know my outrage is based in fact and law. With him, it's just insanity. I don't get it. I don't get how you walk through life like that. I just don't get it. Oh yeah. We have a midnight new episode coming out. Can't wait for that. I wanted to listen as soon as it came out. The last 3 weeks I've just felt so yucky that I haven't listened as soon as it comes out. The podcast is amazing, and I love what it's doing for the story. Absolutely love it. Love Trapped. That's right. If you have not listened yet, you must listen. If you know this case backwards, forwards, inside out, upside down, listen to the podcast because it still will floor you. And it's a good listen as far as like how things were going in real time, what it felt like in real time, what was going on. Yeah, Ms. Wing says, I agree. Tiff, it's constant chaos. Thankful for those that do cover it so I can peek sometimes. And I will watch. I mean, I'll watch Lauren cover it all day long. I love watching Lauren cover a ding-dong statement because what I respect about Lauren is, she'll even say, like, he says the most insane things, but he has the right to say them. And I think that's an excellent approach. I have a hard time adulting in a way that Lauren does sometimes because I'm just like, no, but he's wrong. But she's right. She's right. He has the right to say the weird things he says. I don't have to like it. That's all. But yeah, like I said, not feeling so great. I'm in a lot of pain. Which is why you're starting to lose me a little bit. I'm just so tired. But yeah, I thought that was a good one. Okay, so sorry, going back to what we covered real quick, and then I'll wrap it up. I thought that was a good hearing to cover. I am constantly, like, if you on my personal Facebook, if you saw what I have like pinned to the top, it's all about like, Facebook scams and stuff. These people are getting smart. They're using technology in a way we haven't seen before. It is not just elderly and uneducated people getting scammed, okay? It's just not. And even if it was, those people deserve justice, and they deserve attention, and they deserve for the issue to be handled, appropriately. And shaming people by saying, oh, they're so stupid, I never would fall for that, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that language. I just don't. Because it's why people don't share that they've been targeted. And literally every second matters in that kind of situation. I'll tell a quick story. So when wire fraud first became an issue, this was about 10 years ago when we had a lot of seller impersonations and stuff. We had a transaction. It was a sale transaction. And the seller had requested a wire after they took a check at the closing. And now you can't do that. That's, now it's like, nope, you got to wait. But at the time, we didn't know better yet. And the seller said that she decided she wanted, I think it was an email she sent. It was an email. She decided she wanted a wire. And she emailed us wiring instructions. And that may sound absolutely ridiculous right now in 10 years later talking about it, but it was not uncommon for people to wire us that information. It just wasn't. And we had been communicating with her during leading up to the closing. So after closing, she takes a check, but then she says, nope, I don't want the check. I want a wire because I need my money faster. My bank said there's going to be a hold on your check if I try to deposit it. And as dumb as it was, there were a lot of banks that would do that with a title company check. They would hold it. Certain banks would hold them for 10 days, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so she emails, she wants a wire. She sends us our wiring instructions. My employee is entering the wire information into the system. And we had a 2-step system where one person enters the information in, a second person verifies that, makes sure it's going to the right account, that all the information is correct, input correctly. The way we would do that back then would be to just print out the email and check off and make sure everything on the email, that we got the account number right, the routing number, the name, blah, blah, blah. In that moment when we were initiating that wire, before it had been verified and sent off, the seller happened to call because she was in her next closing. She had sold her house and she was buying a new house, and she needed from us proof that her mortgage had been paid off in her previous closing. Her new lender wanted to make sure they wouldn't take a closing statement like this. There's so many ways this could have gone bad, but it didn't, because they told her they needed something from us proving that the mortgage had been paid off. So my employee says to her, yeah, first of all, my employee thought she was calling about the wire to her personal account. And my employee said, yes, I'm sending the wire now. I just emailed you back. And the seller says, what do you mean you emailed me back? I haven't emailed you about this situation. And luckily, my employee was paying attention to that comment and said, hold on. Back up a second. I just responded to an email that you sent me saying you wanted a wire and that your bank had destroyed the check that we handed you. And she said, no, I deposited that check. I did not email you. And please tell me you didn't actually wire the money, which, it wouldn't have been her issue anyway. It would have been ours. But luckily in that moment, the universe worked together, and she called about something that maybe could have been handled if she had the right paperwork with her at her new closing. I don't know. And we stopped that wire. And luckily, because we had issued a stop payment on our proceeds check, we were able to undo that. And it wasn't an issue. But that was my recollection of when this whole situation was like, oh, this is what they're doing. So what people were doing is they were just hacking regular people's bank accounts, email accounts like Gmail, right? They're just watching people's Gmail accounts until the date of closing happened, and then taking it over, interjecting themselves, and sending wire instructions to the title company saying, no, now I want a wire. And that was before we all caught on and was like, no, you have to sign in blood now at the table to make sure you gave us the right information. But like, that was, the beginning of what we saw, which had become a real problem. And we would have been out as a company, but there were a lot of situations where if we had received that information prior to closing and she had not told us otherwise, it might not have been on us. So we had to get people that, like literally they had to give us handwritten, to this day, have to give us handwritten information signed in ink, wet ink, because we're not, taking the risk of it going through electronically and being manipulated. And it causes so many people to go, what do you mean? What do you mean? They're so inconvenient, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to protect your money. You need your money protected in this situation. So anyway, I don't want to bore everybody about my job because I don't work there anymore, but it definitely is something that can happen to anybody. I don't know how many times I see somebody post about, oh, they're going to close on their house tomorrow. And I'm like, don't tell people you're going to close on your house tomorrow on social media. Wait until after the fact, for the love of God. I had a friend post a copy of a cashier's check. I'm paying off my car today. Here's the cashier's $25,000 cashier's check. Dude, what? Take that off. It was a copy of the check with routing, everything. All you needed was a copy of the check to deposit it. Whoa. So yeah, I try to remind people of, and I'm annoying about it. Sure, I don't care, whatever. Because I think it can happen to anybody. And if you think it can't, I challenge you to prove it to me. Because there are people who you would not expect to be scammed, get scammed, and it's heartbreaking. And I think, again, that financial crimes are not treated as seriously as they should be, because what if their $90,000 was wiped out? That's a lot of money. It was an insurance settlement, she said. So it was to replace something that they lost. And now it's gone. How terrifying. And she didn't fall for the scam. And she still almost got taken. It's insane. Okay, guys, I said I would stop talking quickly, and I'm going to stop talking. But get a library card. Do all the things. I actually got a notification that one of my holds is available, so I'm probably going to listen to that too. Not tonight, but anyway. We've been using our library card more often lately. But yeah, I will figure something else out maybe to do tomorrow, but that one was interesting to me because it was just a new level of using AI to talk to your family members, which again is not weird, other than it's like you're talking about like, it's weird. It is weird. I don't know. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to try. Yeah, Zoe, I'm sorry. You might have seen it today, actually. It was the case in DeSanto with the kid who tried to cash a check out of the people's checking account after some scammers that he was sort of involved with used AI to like replicate her her voice and stuff with her husband and her brother. It was super weird. But it was it might have been in yesterday DeSanto, but it was in DeSanto's court. And it was a crazy case of AI and bank fraud and identity theft and all kinds of stuff that again, anybody can fall for. So yes, go to the library. I have like every Michigan library on my library card, and I get so many books. I can't read the amount of books I have access to. It's impossible. I have so much access to books and magazines because as much as I'm a nerd, I do love magazines. So that's one of my favorite things about my library card is my magazines. So anyway, yeah, go to the library, get your library card, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you. Have a good evening. And I'm going to hit end for real this time. So I'm going to try to say, get a library card right before I do this.